AITA for deciding not to attend my cousin's wedding after an argument with her fiancé. I 21F am caught in a difficult family situation and could use some outside perspective. My cousin, Sarah 25F, and I have been close since childhood. Our families have always been very supportive of each other, and we've shared many important moments together. However, things have become strained since Sarah started dating her fiancé, Jake 29M, about a year ago. From the beginning, there were some red flags about Jake. He seemed dismissive of Sarah's family and had a condescending attitude. We tried to overlook it, hoping it was just initial awkwardness. However, his behavior started to escalate, and my concerns grew. A few months ago, at a family dinner, Jake made several inappropriate comments. He cracked sexist jokes about women being bad at various tasks and made derogatory remarks about my appearance and career aspirations. He suggested that my career goals were unrealistic and joked about how women like me were trying too hard to make something of ourselves. He also dismissed other family members' opinions in a condescending way, which made the atmosphere uncomfortable. When some of us tried to call him out on his behavior, he became defensive and rude, accusing us of being overly sensitive and not understanding his humor. The argument that ensued revealed a deep divide between Jake and the rest of the family. Sarah defended Jake, which only made the situation worse and led to more tension. His incident wasn't an isolated event. Earlier, Jake had shown a lack of respect for family traditions and had been dismissive during family gatherings. He also had a habit of making inappropriate comments that crossed boundaries, but this dinner was the tipping point. After the gathering, I decided I could not attend Sarah's wedding if Jake would be present. I explained my decision to Sarah, emphasizing that I couldn't support or celebrate with someone who had treated me and other family members so poorly. Sarah was hurt and felt betrayed. She accused me of making her wedding about my issues with Jake and said that my absence would overshadow her special day and create unnecessary drama. Now, the family is divided. Some members understand why I feel the way I do and agree that Jake's behavior was unacceptable. They believe I have a right to stand up for myself and others. On the other hand, several family members think I'm being unreasonable and should set aside my personal feelings to support Sarah. My parents are struggling to mediate and keep the peace, which has added more stress to the situation. I'm torn, because I want to support Sarah and be part of her special day, but I also don't want to endorse or tolerate Jake's disrespect. So AITA for choosing not to attend Sarah's wedding because of my issues with Jake, even though it's causing a significant rift in the family. The last few hours since my initial post have been crazy. After sharing my situation, I was reading through the comments to gain more perspective. The advice and support from the Reddit community were incredibly helpful and alleviated some of the anxiety I had been feeling. However, things took a drastic turn when Jake showed up at my house unannounced and aggressively confronted me. His visit was intensely unsettling. Clearly having seen my Reddit post, Jake arrived loud and confrontational, accusing me of trying to sabotage his relationship with Sarah and calling me a petty little drama queen for not attending the wedding. His physical presence was intimidating. He stood too close, loomed over me, and made threatening gestures that made me feel unsafe. During the confrontation, Jake's behavior was alarmingly aggressive. He towered over me, invading my personal space and making me feel trapped. At one point, he slammed his hand down on a nearby table, causing the surface to shake and making me flinch. He also pointed his finger aggressively in my face, his voice rising with each accusation. His posture was menacing, with clenched fists and a harsh, mocking tone. He shouted that I was a pathetic loser and told me to stop being such a whiny little bitch and grow up. He accused me of being jealous and bitter and claimed I was trying to make everything about yourself because you can't stand that Sarah's moving on with someone better than you. He even sneered that I was too insecure to handle seeing Sarah happy with someone superior. These comments, combined with his physical intimidation, left me feeling cornered and deeply frightened. After Jake left, I was emotionally shattered. I immediately called my parents to let them know what had happened. They were both enraged and deeply disturbed. My mother's anger was palpable. She said, "I cannot believe he had the nerve to come to your home and act like that. This is absolutely unacceptable. He's a bully, and no one should have to tolerate that kind of aggressive behavior in their own home." My father was equally furious, exclaiming, "Jake's behavior was appalling. He had no right to threaten you like that. We need to take a stand and not let this kind of behavior slide. It's beyond disrespectful and frightening. The violent outburst from Jake was actually the incident that incited the family video call. In the call, I explained how Jake's inappropriate comments and jokes at past family events, including sexist remarks about my career aspirations and personal appearance, had led up to this point. I also detailed his violent outburst at my home, where he berated me and made threats in front of me, which became the tipping point for discussing the situation with the family. During the video call, Sarah and Jake both defended themselves vehemently. Sarah accused me of lying about Jake's behavior in the most demeaning terms, claiming I was fabricating everything to create drama and attention. She said I was sick in the head for making up such stories and insisted that I was simply jealous and bitter because she was happy with Jake. Sarah's tone was harsh and dismissive, and she belittled my feelings, accusing me of trying to ruin her life out of sheer spite. She claimed my account was nothing more than a malicious attempt to sabotage their relationship, and that I was pathetically grasping at straws for sympathy. Before the call ended, Sarah hung up abruptly, leaving everyone distraught and worried. Her sudden departure only deepened the confusion and anger within the family. The video call also led to some significant shifts in family opinions. Several relatives who initially felt I should set aside my personal feelings to support Sarah now voiced their own reservations. Some declared they would not attend the wedding themselves, stating they could not support Sarah's decision to overlook Jake's aggressive behavior. One family member said, "I can't stand by and watch this disrespectful behavior be rewarded. I'm stepping back from the wedding too." Another added, "I don't want to be part of a celebration that condones this kind of aggression." My parents are deeply involved in trying to mediate and repair the rift within the family. They are concerned about how to address the situation without further escalating tensions. They believe that some middle ground could be found, but are struggling with the divide created by Jake's aggression and Sarah's stance. As they try to manage the fallout, they are also worried about the long-term impact on family relationships and are working hard to prevent further discord. Amidst all of this, I've been debating whether I should just go to the wedding and try to be the bigger person. Despite Jake's aggressive behavior towards me in my own home, on one hand, part of me wonders if attending, even if it means swallowing my pride, might help mend my relationship with Sarah and show her that I care about her despite my issues with Jake. But then I question if doing so would mean condoning Jake's behavior and compromising my own values. The thought of facing Jake again after his violent outburst is daunting, and I'm unsure if it would be worth the emotional toll. I am also conscious that this update may make its way back to Jake, so I'm taking precautions to ensure my safety. I'm not staying home alone and have asked my boyfriend 25M to stay with me for added support. Despite my efforts to resolve things amicably, the situation remains strained and uncertain. The support and advice from others have helped alleviate some of my anxiety, but I remain unsure about how to proceed without further alienating myself or deepening the divide within the family. I apologize if some parts of this update seem unclear or disjointed. The situation has been overwhelming, and I appreciate everyone's patience and support. I'll try to update again if anything more happens.